Hi, BrenTech here, where tech is made simple. So Microsoft has rolled out PowerToys version 0.94, which is now the latest release. And Microsoft says that this latest version focuses on new features, stability, optimization improvements, and automation. And there's quite a lot going on. This is quite a big update with version 94. Now, just to focus on the key highlights for the purpose of this video, because there's a lot more going on under the hood with lots of improvements, fixes, and so on. But just to focus on those highlights, there are 8 in total. First of all, and as I've posted previously, when it was still in development, Microsoft now has added a search to the settings, at the top in the middle, which I actually think is a very nice move, because there's quite a lot going on in PowerToys, as you can see, when it comes to all the different settings, utilities, modules, and so on. So this just, I think, makes the functionality of the app a lot better. And a couple of the improvements that are rolled out with search is it has fuzzy matching suggestions. And basically what that means is that you don't need to enter the exact setting name. So as an example, I want to look for image resizer. There we go. There's also a results page, show all results, which I actually think is quite nice. And Microsoft also says a UX polish to make finding options faster. So having a search now, I definitely think, is a step forward. And then the next new feature is what Microsoft is calling a comprehensive hotkey conflict detection system. And just a bit more info as to what this is all about is basically you can see if standard or custom shortcuts clash with existing ones, as we can see in the image provided from the release notes. And the dashboard now has a dedicated button that shows the number of conflicting shortcuts, and clicking it opens, we can see a new window with those shortcuts, allowing you to jump to the corresponding settings and remap keys to resolve conflicts, which I also think is another nice move. And Mouse Utilities has received a new feature, with Microsoft saying it's added a gliding cursor accessibility feature to mouse pointer crosshairs for single button cursor movement and clicking. Now Microsoft says with this feature you can control the mouse cursor using just a single shortcut instead of needing to quickly stop the cursor right on target. The gliding cursor lets you move step by step with more control. It's mentioned that this is especially helpful as an accessibility feature for people who find fast or precise movements challenging. It's similar, Microsoft says, to switch access features found on other platforms, and makes it possible to use Windows with just a single button. Once you trigger the shortcut, the crosshairs begin to glide. Pressing the shortcut again locks the horizontal position, then the vertical, and finally performs the click. So more specifically, just to show you what this is all about, if we head into our mouse utilities, here you'll see mouse pointer crosshairs, and you've got the gliding cursor option now using Windows Alt and stop. So just to show you more or less what this is all about, quick demonstration. Windows Alt and stop. There we go. And if I push that again, it slows that down to a more finer, refined movement. And then if I push that again, it starts the vertical. And then once again, and I can then perform the click. That's more or less what gliding mouse cursor is all about. And then just to mention the next is Microsoft says that the installer was upgraded to WRX5, Wix 5, after Wix 3 reached end of life. And this move improves, Microsoft says, installer security, reliability, and community support, which is also great. And in regards to Command Palette, and Command Palette is a fully extensible quick launcher, which you can launch, as an example, Windows, Alt and space. There we go. Microsoft says there are tons of bug fixes and improvements for Command Palette, including visual updates and new support for filters on list pages, handy for extension developers. So Microsoft has focused a lot on this command palette in recent updates to the app since it has been released a while back. And then second last one for this video, context menu registration, Microsoft says, was moved from the installer to runtime to avoid loading disabled modules, runtime registrations. So that's something taking place under the hood. And then if we head to quick accent, which is an alternative way to type accented characters, Microsoft says that quick accent now supports Maltese and frequently used accents appear first and are remembered across sessions. So as an example, there we go, and I can choose my different accents that I want to use. That's just a very quick example as to what that's all about. So and guys, that's the key highlights. There's a lot more going on. This is quite a big release, but we would be here all day. And if you want to know more about what's under the hood, so to speak, you can click on the release notes, and that will take you over to GitHub, where you can check everything else that's going on in this release. Quite a lot going on, and you can also download PowerToys from this page, and you can also get PowerToys from the Microsoft Store for both Windows 10 and Windows 11, as you may well know. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.